Have you ever had a cramp that made you look like Harry Potter when Voldemort used the Cruciatus curse on him? Well, from my time as a football player and now that I'm competing in Muay Thai, I definitely have. And there's much more enjoyable things I'd rather be doing than cramping. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some things you could do to make sure it doesn't happen again. So I'm just going to get to the point right now. The main thing you're going to do to stop cramping is just hydration and sodium. There's always a strong correlation to the days I cramped and the days where I didn't take in enough salt. And in case you didn't know, salt is just essential for athletes and just humans in general. Dr. Andrew Huberman, who's a neuroscientist at Stanford, actually takes it every morning for his brain. But salt or sodium is the thing that actually retains the water in your body, so you're actually hydrated and you're not just flushing the water in and out your body. And as an athlete, you actually have to eat more salt than you would probably expect, and definitely more than the average human. And that's because as an athlete, you sweat a lot, and when you sweat, you lose a lot of sodium. Hence why whenever you get a little bit of sweat in your mouth, it always tastes a little bit salty. So something you could do to counteract this is just take some electrolytes. I personally use Santa Cruz Paleo's electrolytes, but that could be a little bit expensive. The more economic and sustainable way to get your sodium in is just always put a little bit of extra salt on your food. And that's just really the easiest way to always make sure you have enough sodium in you. That's something I learned from Nick Best's video, who's a strongman. Another thing I like to do that I learned from Santa Cruz Paleo is whenever I have coconut water, I just add some salt to that, and that way I get my sodium from the salt, and I also get a lot of magnesium and potassium from the coconut water, which is also really good for athletes and just people in general. And personally, I always use Himalayan pink salt. I know some people like Matt Wenning prefer iodized salt because iodine is an essential nutrient for your thyroid health. But for me, Andrew Huberman uses Himalayan pink salt, and I don't question him if he says jump. All I say is how high. But also, Himalayan pink salt just looks cool to me, just the fact that it's pink. And also, I've just been eating Himalayan pink salt for so long now. Even as a kid, that's the one my parents used to get. So it's just a natural habit for me to, whenever I'm at the grocery store and I see a bunch of salt, I just grab the Himalayan pink salt. But don't overthink it though, pretty much any salt will help with the cramping. Whether it's iodized salt, Himalayan pink salt, sea salt, Hawaiian salt, whatever. It doesn't really matter, just make sure you're getting enough sodium in. Also, just so you're aware of this, if you take in a lot of salt and your body isn't used to it, there is a good chance that you'll get diarrhea. This is something I learned from Matt Wenning, and I didn't believe him at first, but after I took a lot of salt when my body wasn't used to it, it turned out to be true. But it's honestly nothing crazy, nothing a few wet wipes won't fix. And something I suggest if you're an athlete or a general gym goer or a student is just always keep a thing of wet wipes on you in your gym bag or your backpack, just in case you have to go before training or in between classes. And I promise it will just make your life 10 times easier. So hydration by not just drinking enough water but also getting in enough sodium is the main thing. But another thing is just making sure that your body is used to the physical activity that you're doing. I have one vivid memory from when I was a junior college football player and I was going into the start of my second year, and I was just coming off of an ankle injury, so I wasn't able to run and barely could even walk for about a month. But my first day back, I had to do a conditioning test, which was 21 10s, which is just where you run across the field one time and you have to do it under 16 seconds if you're a cornerback like me, and you have 40 seconds to rest or something like that, and then you do it again 20 times. Even if you've been training, it's already really tiring. But like I said, I was coming off an ankle injury and this was my first day back to actually sprinting, so I really had to bring out my inner David Goggins for this one, and somehow I was able to pass. But when I got home, I was doing some light exercises. I was doing some hamstring curls with a resistance band, and boom, it hit me. I was just double hamstring cramp for what felt like 10 minutes. In reality, it was probably just like 2 minutes, but it felt like way longer. And I tried stretching them and I tried relaxing them, but nothing happened, just pure pain. And this is just a side note, but I was also getting out of a relationship at this time too, so I was just in a lot of physical pain and a little bit of emotional pain too, so it was just like a shitty experience overall. But the moral of the story is that you could be super hydrated and taking in enough salt and everything, but if you're not used to the actual physical activity, there's still a good chance that you might cramp up. So something one of my football coaches told me is that when he was in the NFL, they actually fine you if you cramp up during practice or during a game. And that's because it really is your responsibility to make sure you don't cramp up. And that's by doing things like drinking enough water, making sure you're eating enough salt so that your body can actually keep in the water, and just staying in shape if you're in the off season or if you've been taking a break from training. But if you want a video to where I go further into why athletes need to eat enough salt and 6 other surprising foods that will help you as an athlete, there's a video right here you could check out. And I know I just made a video on this, but I actually caught a cramp recently in Muay Thai, and I can't be making videos about this if I'm catching cramps as well. So if you're struggling with cramping, let's just make sure we do these 3 things to make sure it doesn't happen again. Because not only does the initial cramp suck, it also sucks just being sore for a couple days because it was just cramping so much. So yeah, I'm gonna make sure I do these 3 things. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.